Welcome back to our Beyond Wealth video series. I'm Andrew Comstock. Our team is excited today to talk about something that may not be exciting to you, but it's really important to your financial success, and that is your spending. So given what's going on in the global climate, we know that some people are saving more than normal, while other people have seen an income reduction and their budget or their spending may be a little more in focus. No matter what situation you're in, it's always a good time to review your spending. So spending money is an important part of your financial story, and you want to make sure we're not spending too much over time. So we're going to ask 3 questions today to make sure that we're on track when it comes to our spending. The first one is, do you know how much you are spending? Number one reason we find that people overspend is they simply have never sat down and crunched the numbers. So figuring out where you're spending and what you're spending on is the first step. It's never been easier to track that stuff. So I'm old school. I use an Excel spreadsheet, but with Mint, you need a budget, or even the tools on our personal financial website. It's never been easier to pull data in from your bank and your credit cards to figure out where you're spending your money. Now the question is, once you get all that information, is are you overspending in the present, meaning that you're just spending more than you bring in? Or are you paying off maybe past overspending? So that usually is a sign of paying off credit card balances, home equity line of credit, or something else that may have put you behind the 8 ball in the past, and you're getting caught up on that. This is an opportunity also, once you review all of the information that you're getting, is you're going to be able to figure out some areas to cut that are just going to jump off the page for you. Maybe that's you've been eating out a little too much, you've been spending a little bit too much at the grocery store, or you find a couple of hidden subscriptions like an extra Netflix account or a Spotify or Sirius that you aren't quite using as much as maybe you want to do. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. The next question is this spending reflecting your priorities? So understanding the why behind your spending is really, really important. You want to make sure that it's aligned with your values. So if taking family vacations is really important to you guys, make sure you build that into your budget or into your spending. If the kids' activities are super important to you, or private schools very important for you, build that into your budget. Now, if going to Chick-fil-A 3 times a week is important to you, that may be a passion, but a lot of times that's just because you haven't planned in advance for something, and that's just the easy, convenient option. So you just want to make sure that when you look at all the spending, that stuff is important to you, gets top billing, and we figure out how to make it work. So figuring out those people, places, and things that matter to you is the number one thing that we think when it comes to building a budget or spending that you've got to spend some time on. Do it with intention, and it's going to mean a lot more. So now that you know where you're spending your money and the why behind your spending your money, we can actually start to dig in and do stuff. So if we're paying off debt of those past kind of overspending, we're going to have to work with you to kind of create a plan in order to kind of get you out of debt. That may be a temporary reduction in spending today in order to kind of pay off all those old credit cards or whatever form that debt is taking. But that's one avenue. The other one is, if you find yourself overspending today, coming up with strategy or a system to help you manage your expenses might be a better way to do it. One idea is to take essentially 2 or 3 bank accounts and start to break up your monthly spending, into kind of 3 or 4 categories. So the first one would be those, bills that happen every single month: your mortgage, your car payment, your insurance, your utilities. Whatever that number is, you put exactly that amount in the bank account there, and that's just going to be automatically deducted. And so that's an easy way for you to kind of manage that side of your those recurring bills that are coming every single month. And then what you can do is have a side account or a second account that's your discretionary spending: eating out, doing fun things, kids' activities. And as you spend that money down, you know exactly how much you can spend in that category. And then you can create a third bucket, and that would be for savings or for kind of those future opportunity funds, is like we like to call them sometimes. So there's a lot of different ways we can do that. And you could automate that process to make sure that it becomes more routine and it's less something that you have to go in and do actively. But you can kind of constantly monitor how much money you have to spend. And if you're using credit cards, you definitely can kind of incorporate that in, but it still can let you overspend a little bit if you're using credit cards. But you want to create and prioritize your savings goals in any system that you create in order to make sure it's the most useful for you. So kind of wrapping things up, you're always going to be spending money. We know that. But the where and the why is the most important thing. So use this as an opportunity as a kind of a gut check. Go back and do the work and figure out where you're spending your money and making sure it aligns with those goals that you're looking at. So our team would love to meet with you and help you create a spending plan. If you've got bigger financial goals or just something like a simple spending plan that you need created, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you.